Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining. My name is Sharad, and I'm the owner and founder of REsimpli. Just a little bit about myself. I am an active investor in Northwest Indiana, right outside of Chicago, like 30, 45 minutes outside of Chicago. I do mostly fix and flip either to retail buyers or about half to turnkey properties to other investors, and other half would be to retail buyers, homeowners that are looking to buy their property. And I also own rental properties and a property management company. So I started recently to essentially manage my own business, and it's kind of grown into what it is now. I do a lot of marketing, direct mail, PPC, paper lead from fast home offers, need to sell my house fast, cold calling, and a little bit of texting. So um, cool. So the agenda of the call today is just to help you guys kind of go over, and we'll make this call very interactive. So if you guys have any questions, either put it in the chat and I'll monitor the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. Whatever is easy for you. If you want to wait until the end of the call, we'll just do about 10, 15 minutes covering this topic, and then we'll make it open Q&A. Cool. All right, guys. So the purpose of this call is to just talk about how to make sure that you're not missing any lead in your pipeline, which you can do through from the dashboard that we have, just by basically making sure that all of these numbers at the end of the day are zero for everybody in your team. So as long as these three numbers are zero for everyone in your team, then it would mean that there is absolutely zero lead that is ever going to fall through the crack. So the first number is your task due. It's going to show you all the tasks that you have due as of today, including any tasks that are past due. So, and it's only going to show me my task, not for somebody else's task. So this is a demo account, and still looking at the number of 124 on a demo account makes me nervous. But the purpose of this is to make sure every day, every single task for every team member is getting done. And you can toggle and look at other people's tasks. So I can click here and see, Tony has 7 past due tasks and 13 open leads and 1 message that he hasn't replied to. But for me, this is 124 tasks. I can click right here. It takes me to all my tasks that I have. So it shows me that I have, 1 appointment. So it includes any appointments that I have today and any past due task as of today, so including tasks that are due today and that should have been done by today. So if notice, I have 109 past due tasks, 14 that are due today, which is 123 plus an appointment. So I have 124 tasks or appointment that I need to be working on. And then there are 4 tasks that are due in the future, which is not included in my dashboard number. So if one of these tasks were to come due, let's say tomorrow, and I don't complete anything, that number would go up to 125, unless plus minus if there's any other appointment that comes up. And then the goal is to make sure that you're completing all of your tasks on a daily basis. And every team member would have their own list of tasks that they need to be working on. So for example, I can go here, I can mark this completed if I know this has been done. All right, I've canceled the insurance policy, I've canceled the electric service. So as I do this number will keep going down. So this number, I completed 3 tasks. Now it's down to 121. So meaning that, my tasks are getting done. So if I add any additional tasks for myself, so let's say if I go into a lead and let's say, or somebody assigns me a task that needs to be done today, let's say call the lead ASAP, and then they assign it to me. And let's say this is due in an hour. All right, so if I go back here, this number went up to 122 now. Previously, it was 121. So again, before logging off for the day, I would want to make sure that these numbers are zero for me. So that's what we do in our team. We make sure that we track the daily task view, open leads, and internal inbox should be zero for every day. So again, we would want to make sure this is zero. So anytime a new lead is created, whether it be through direct mail, cold calling, you can set up automated tasks that get triggered to make sure nothing is falling through the cracks. So which you can do by going into global tasks, which is essentially automated tasks that get triggered as soon as a lead is created. So for example, if I go in, if you notice that, for this account I've set up, as soon as the new lead is created in no contact made, within 1 minute, there's a task that's due, and then to the owner. And then in 2 hours, there's another task that's due to the acquisition manager. And then if a new lead is created in contact made, there's a task that's due in 2 minutes for the owner. So if I go in, right now I have 122 tasks. So for example, if a new lead were to be created, I'm just going to go ahead and create new lead. Just put a dummy number. So this came from direct mail, probate list. And if I go ahead and create this lead, all right. So if I go back, you'll notice that there's additional two tasks for this lead that were assigned to me. And they both have a due date of today. So if I go back, this number went up from 122 to 124. So meaning like I have a couple of additional tasks that I need to do today. So as the lead is being created in real time, your task queue number will keep getting updated, and as you complete this, will keep changing automatically. And then the next thing is your open leads. So open leads are any leads that are either new leads that have come into the system, through any marketing channel that you have, through Zapier, through website integration, whatever that might be. And also any lead that has called you back or texted you and you haven't called them back or texted them. So these are 14 open leads that we have in our account. Meaning that I have to take care of, somebody on my team needs to make sure that this is being zeroed out at the end of the day. So if I click right here, it's going to show me every single lead that I have in my entire pipeline that I haven't closed yet. So if you look at these, even if I have something in a dead lead and that person were to call me back, that number on my dashboard of open lead is going to go up. So it's going to make sure that I'm notified. Everybody in my team is notified that there's a new open lead that came in. Everybody's getting a notification through email. So you have that, one notification come through email to you. And then also this number will go up as soon as the lead calls you or texts you back. And if you haven't called them or texted them back, let's say if this dead lead, I go in, this dead lead just texted me or called me and said, hey, I'm not interested. Please take me off my marketing list. Then I can just click right here and I can do this. And then if I go back, that number for me is going to go down from 14 to 13, meaning I only have 13 open leads that I need to take care of. So if I click on this, so that's another number that everybody on my team, my investing business needs to make sure that number is always zero at the end of the day. And just a new update that we added this last week is, so anytime you have an open lead now, it's going to show you for any lead that was created since this Monday or since last Thursday or Friday, whenever it went live, it's actually going to show you a running timer so you know exactly how long that lead has been open. So for example, if this has been open for more than 24 hours and this was in a normal working week, then that's an issue that we go and talk to our lead manager and say, hey, why do we have this lead that's been open for more than 24 hours and we haven't gotten back to the lead? So this is a very, very important number for us to make sure how quickly we're getting back to the lead, to our open leads. So essentially, as soon as, when my team is logging off, they make sure before the end of the day, so 5:36, whenever they're logging off, they make sure this number is zeroed out. So when we do our morning huddle every morning, only open leads that we should have is the leads that came in since the end of the day to tomorrow, to this morning. And then even in some cases, if you have a lead, a PPC lead comes in or a paper lead that comes in, then we make sure, we close it. If it's a hot lead, we'll go in and we'll call the lead back and then make sure, that lead gets taken care of. So either you can click, in order to close a lead, either you can click right here and then, just close out the lead. Or if you call back or text the lead back, that open badge would automatically go away because you have taken some action on the lead you've called or texted back that lead. So there's a couple of different ways you can take care of that. And the third thing that we need to make sure is zero is this number right here, the internal inbox. Internal inbox is the communication that you're having with your team internally. So it'd be like if I click on it, in this case, my team member Tony Stark in this account has messaged me and say, hey, can you please look into this offer that I made? So I can click right here. I can just review the notes. And then if everything looks good, that lead went away as soon as I click on it. Or I can another offer that I made, I feel pretty good about. Either I can click reply right here. I can say great work, and I can click send message, and it'll clear out my internal inbox. So I can come right here. This number is 0 for me now. So as long as you're making sure that these 3 numbers are 0 for you and everybody on your team, then every lead is going to be captured, every lead is going to be taken care of. And then a couple of other things you can do is we made this update last week where in the conversion trend, instead of just showing you daily leads, appointments, offers, and contracts that you're getting, now these numbers are clickable. We are going to be adding a time filter to this dashboard either end of this week or next week. It should come out where you can filter this entire dashboard by time period. So if you wanted to see, instead of leads that came in just over the last 7 days, if you wanted to just look at the conversion trend for last month, for example, or since the beginning of this year in this bar chart, then you will be able to do that. But for now, for the last 7 days, I can click right here and I can see, all right, I got 2 leads, where they are right now. And I can see how many appointments did we have in last 7 days. So these would be the actual appointments that you had in last 7 days. So if you set up an appointment, let's say if I set up an appointment yesterday for next week, it's not going to be counted here. It would only include the appointments that were actually over the last 7 days. So I can see, how many appointments did I go on last 7 days. It's just showing for me. But again, you can click right here and see for every team member. And it shows me how many offers I made on those properties. So if I quickly want to review and look at the offers, I can see this, these 3, these 2 are in offer made, and this one is actually new inventories, meaning, tell me we made an offer on this property in last 7 days, and now it's new inventory, meaning we have closed on that property. And then this right here shows me how many contracts we've gotten. Again, this is the same property, 4816 Carey Street. So we made an offer on it over the last 7 days. We also got it in the contract and closed on it within the last 7 days. So you can keep track of everything. So this gives you a really good idea of kind of what's going on in your business over the last 7 days, how many leads you're getting, how many appointments you're going on, how many offers you're making, how many contracts you are getting. So if you're the owner of the account, you're going to see this information for everyone. But if you're the acquisition manager, you just see your data just for your leads. And then another thing we've done is in the lead source, all the leads that you're getting over the last 7 days from different lead sources is now clickable. So you can click anywhere on the chart. So it shows you that in last 7 days, I only got 2 leads, this one and this one. And it matches with the number right here. So this shows me two leads, and this shows me that the 2 new leads that came in came from direct mail. If I had a bunch of different leads that came in, then this number would be higher, and then this would have different lead sources that the leads were coming from. And then I can just quickly click here. This is also really quickly a good way to kind of see where your leads are coming in from over the last 7 days. And again, once we add a time filter, then you'll be able to see, what's kind of going on last month, quarter, or different custom time period that you want to look at. And this right here tells me like how many hot leads that I have. This is also a really good way to just kind of keep a pulse on all the hot leads that you have in your business. So if you click here, it's just going to filter out, just clean your pipeline and only show you the hot leads in your pipeline. So I can see I have this, hot lead that I made an offer on, and then I have 3 that are sitting in my warm leads that are marked as hot leads. So let's say, for example, if I know this lead is no longer a hot lead, I can just click right here and take it off the hot lead. And when I go back, it's only going to show me that I have 3 hot leads in my pipeline. And if I just want to see, if I want to clear out the filter, I can click right here, and it shows me all the leads that I have in my pipeline right now. So, so I wanted to go over this because this has been really huge in our business, just making sure on a daily basis within 5-10 minutes, we know for everyone kind of what's going on in our business. We keep 99% of the communication through REsimpli. If there's like an odd text, going back and forth, then somebody on my team goes back and makes sure we copy and paste all the information. So at the end of the day, everything gets saved back into the attached lead for us, whether it be pictures, videos, any communication that we're having, to make sure it all goes back into the system. So this way I can jump back into any lead. Let's say, I make an offer on this property and we don't end up closing on this property. the seller doesn't accept the property and we put it back into the warm lead, which happens a lot of the times. I move it to a warm lead and then, put the lead on an automated drip campaign. And then let's say lead calls back, 3 months, 6 months, or a year later, which is very common. And at that point, the seller said, okay, I'm interested in selling my property. At that point, we do not want to ask the seller, hey, can you tell me like what was the last time we talked about this property? And so we have everything saved in our communication. If you have any pictures, we'll upload in our file, so we can just quickly go back and say, all right, this is kind of what your property looked like a year ago when we came and looked at it. Has anything changed since then? So we can make an offer based on that. And then again, if somebody ends up leaving our team, which also happens sometimes, when you have an acquisition manager, the person might end up leaving. So it's really, really important that all the communication that you have is always attached with the lead. Any pictures, videos are always attached with the lead. So if you have somebody ends up leaving, you don't have to go off your memory and think about, okay, I think this is the conversation that we had. You can go through and listen to every call recording that you have, see every text message that you got from the lead, all the phone conversation, all the notes that you left on the lead, and then just pick up kind of wherever the last time you had the conversation. So you don't have to ask the seller, send any pictures and kind of refresh your memory on what you talked about, because you have everything saved within the system. So yeah, that's kind of what we do in our business. Any questions on this? Let me see, there's chat box. Hey, Ray, I'm not sure what you mean by, is there any way we cannot overlaps when making a task? Do you want to unmute yourself and explain me what you mean by that question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so what I meant by that was we having problems when it comes to when we make a task. Let's say a seller tells me, hey, call me back on Monday, and we have a task for that same day, that same time. We just have multiple tasks by an acquisitions manager, in which sometimes I catch them having 4 tasks for the same time, and then they break. You know what I mean? Like the seller might remember, hey, you were supposed to call me at 3. So is there any way we can have like a calendar? Hey, if we set up a schedule at 3, we can make another one for that day for that acquisitions manager, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, you cannot do that. What I would do, Ray, in that case is like before you make a task, I would just quickly check and see if there's any other task. For example, I see, there's one for me already made tomorrow to check MLS comps, right? Then I would just check it really quick just to make sure I'm not making a task. And if there's already a task set up for that, if we start restricting, I mean, some people might want to create those duplicate tasks just in case they don't forget. So that's why it becomes a little bit hard, for us to kind of restrict on somebody making a task. What I would do is I would just quickly check on that, come to the lead page and click task and appointment, and just see, it'll show you everybody's task, just so that you kind of have a quick idea on, if there's anything already pending for someone. Okay. And one other thing, guys, which is super useful is especially for your acquisition manager on your team that needs to make calls back to the leads and just wants to make sure that every single task is being attended. You can actually come to this filter, and this is a really cool filter option that we have. So you can go into task filter, click on lead with pending task, and then you can see any. So by default, it shows the tasks that are assigned to me, and then I can choose past due and due today. So what this is going to do is it's going to show me all the leads that have any task that is assigned to me, either it's past due or due today. So I can see, there are 5 tasks, 5 leads with tasks that I need to work on that are either due to the past due. I can click right here, and there's a couple of different things I can do. I can either go into task and appointment, and I can just mark these completed. Another cool way, especially if a lot of your tasks are going to be related to making calls, you can actually just click on the dialer right here. It's going to pop up this, and it's going to actually show you what tasks you need to do. So I can click and say, new lead, check all the details. For example, there might be some call recording, some of the information I might have for this, and I can check, if I want to leave a note, I can leave a note. But let's say if I checked everything, everything looks good, I can just go ahead, mark this completed. And then the next task for me would be for this lead is call the lead back. I can click right here, make the call to the lead, have all the conversation that I need to, click right here. And let's say before I go on to, so Ray, in this case, it's only showing me my assigned task. It's not showing me task that is assigned to somebody else. So I can go ahead, let's say the seller say, hey, call me back, in a couple of days. Before I go on to the next lead, I can click on add task and say call lead back. And I can just assign it to myself. And I can say, let's say I need to call the lead back in 2 days. And then I can set up a reminder if I need to be reminded before I get, before this pops up. Let's say this is a hot lead. I can say, all right, remind me via send me an SMS 2 hours before this task is due. So I make sure I'm prepared, if I need to do any research. I can click on create task. It's going to create task and it's a due date. So green clock here means that this is due in the future. Yellow means it's due today. Red means it's past due. So let's say everything that I needed to do with this lead, it's done. I can click on next lead. It shows me a couple of more tasks for this lead. I can click right here. And you notice that this right here, a few other options you can click on. If you want to just quickly do, Google search of this property, you can just click right here and it's going to search the property in Google, or you can click on this and it's, this is something we added last week. So it's going to pull up all the Zillow information for that property. And then you can see this one. If you want to view it on a Google Maps, you can do that, Street View, and it shows me that it's been open for last 27 minutes. I'd say I complete this. Now I'm in no contact made. So once I click next, it's actually going to jump to the next stage where I have something that's due. So now it's showing me the two tasks that are due. This one is due today. This one with a green clock, it's due in the future. So I'm not going to mark it completed. And then I'm going to go into the next one, which is offer made. Let's say I call this lead. And at this point, I'm done. Or, a couple of properties under contract. So let's say if I mark this completed, and at this point, so this means I'm done. There's nothing else that I need to do. So if I come back into the lead, there's only one lead that has some tasks that are still pending that I haven't completed. It's the last one that I pulled up on the dialer with all these bunch of tasks that I need to complete. So that's another way you can make sure, especially if it's somebody on your team that needs to make a lot of calls or send text messages for follow-up to their leads. So that's another quick way that they can get through a lot of their leads without having to go into a specific lead. And just quickly go through that on the dialer. Jeremy, hey man, how are you? Jeremy, so is there a way we can run KPI reports daily and weekly? Yes, you can do that. So just I mentioned, we are going to be adding a time filter option on this either end of this week or early next week. So you can see this week, last week, and a bunch of different time options. But if you want, like, let's say if I wanted to see all the data, I can come into my KPI marketing. I can click on time filter. Let's say if I just wanted to see for last month, I can click right here. It's only going to show me the data for last month. For example, it showed me that I just said one lead, new lead came in. I made offers on 2 properties. One I got under contract. So I can click right here. I can see which 2 properties I can see under contract. So it's basically showing me the same data right here as this report. So it's showing me the same data, but this is over last 7 days, and it's showing me the same total leads, appointments, offer under contract. It also shows me the deals that I've actually closed on, but you can set up different time period right here, just like you have this filter, this specific filter. We are going to be adding similar filter on this section right here. So if you wanted to run reports daily, weekly, whatever time period, you can do custom also. If you wanted to, let's say you hired a new person or you made some business changes, you implemented something new, let's say since the last couple of weeks. If you wanted to look at everything that happened since you made that change, so you can do a specific time period filter, when you had somebody come in, a new thing going on into your business, then you can also do that for that specific time period. And it tracks all the money you spent for that specific time period, all the money that you made, leads, appointments, a very, very in-depth report for the business. Let me know, Jeremy, if you have follow-up questions to that. Michael has a question. Can leads be pushed into REsimpli from call tools without having to enter leads manually? Absolutely. So this is something we've been working on for last couple of weeks. This is going to go live and you can check it out. There's just some changes, we're working on, like making it HTTPS. But you can go right here. This is help.resimpli.com. This should go live, and we'll send out an email this week, just letting everybody know this is live. But if you go, we're kind of organizing everything here. If you go into the integrations, so this is all the integration. We've already made videos. If you want to do something with call tools, you can go here, you can watch the video, and it walks you through step by step exactly what you need to do to push your leads from, in this case, call tools into REsimpli. And then if you have any follow-up questions, then you can send us an email. But this should walk you through exactly everything that you need to do. Cool. Brian has a question. Is there a way to automatically stop a drip campaign once the lead responds? Brian, yes, you can absolutely do that. Let's say if I go into this drip, actually, let me go into next one. So let's say if I go into this and I want to set up a drip campaign, and I can choose right here before I set up a drip campaign. Let's say I do this one. I can say, would you like to change the timing of the first message? That's the first option. Let's say you're setting up late at night. You don't want the message to go out, let's say 11 in the night. You can change the timing of the first message. And then the other option is, would you like to auto stop the drip campaign once you receive a call or SMS from the lead? By default, it is selected no. You can do yes. So as soon as you get a call or SMS from the lead, the drip is going to stop. I would suggest you keep it no, just, in my experience, because sometimes what happens is you might send out, you might put a lead on a drip campaign, and lead might just respond back and say, okay, just acknowledging your text message. In that case, you don't really want the drip campaign to stop, because then you'll have to start it from the beginning. So I would just leave it no. Let's say in this case, if the lead did respond back, it's going to come up as additional open lead. So this number would go up. Then you can see, you can go into the lead and see, this person just, if you have any communication, whether this person just called back and said, okay, then in that case, you might not want to stop the drip campaign at that point. But you can definitely do that if you wanted to, just by selecting that option as yes. So if the lead were to stop, if the drip campaign were to stop, if you received a notification, then the drip campaign would stop, and we'll send you an email, hey, the drip campaign stopped because the lead responded on that. But this number would still go off. So either way, you'll get notified right here if the lead responds, whether you select that option as yes or no. Let me know, Brian, if you have any follow-up questions on that. When do you SMS? Anthony has a question. When do you anticipate SMS blast going live? Anthony, we don't have any plans of making SMS go live. In fact, with everything going on with 10 DLC, it's getting much, much harder to send out those bulk text messages. You can send out bulk SMS only to your buyers. So you can go into your buyers. If I wanted to send out text messages, I can do to my buyers through a toll-free number, but we are not going to be adding bulk SMS through leads. It's just getting really, really difficult. There's a lot of, the cell phone carriers are really monitoring that, and we don't want our other phone numbers to get affected in any way. So we don't allow that. Jeremy, assumption on the financials, I have my bank account link, but we can pay everything through a max card. Can this be? Jeremy, do you want to quickly unmute yourself and let me know? I just want to make sure I understand the question about.
So yeah, I linked up our financials. So we have our company bank account set up, right?
Okay.
But we put everything on our company credit card. Of course, we want the points, right? So everything from Twilio to REsimpli, Skip Tracing, all of that goes on a credit card. Can we have that credit card added to the financials? That way it can pull that information and vendors. It can do that. Okay.
Yeah, so you would just go into, there's a couple of different ways. I suggest you link your bank account. So this way it'll take away like 90% of the work that you need to do. Just click link here, and it goes through Plaid. So, I'm sure you've heard of Plaid. TransferWise, Venmo, they use the same platform for the backend. That's what we use. So if you click right here, it goes to a third party, there's secure integration. So whatever, I use Capital One for my business, for example, and I get 2% cash back on everything that I spend. So even I run through my personal expenses, some of the expenses through that, because I get 2% cash back. But on my financials, I would just mark it as personal expense. So it doesn't go on my P&L, but whatever you have, so you just click right here. you put in your information, your username and password on this. And then what's going to happen is, if you have, most of the banks have two-factor authentication set up.
Yeah.
So what will happen is, like, you will get a text message from your bank to verify. You'll have to put that code in before you can proceed to link up your bank account. Like, I use Chase, so every time I'm linking up my bank account with any platform, Chase would send me a text message on my cell phone, and I'll have to put that information in before I can actually link up my bank account. So it'll be the same thing. And once you do that, this is what it's going to look like. So once you've linked up your bank account, it's going to pull all the transactions like this. And then you can like quickly go in. All you have to do is just put vendor, method, what property paid for, what account it was. And then once you do that, once you've inputted the transaction, then the system will read based on the transaction memo. It's going to recognize most of the transactions. So let's say this, based on this transaction memo, it's saying, hey, we're suggesting that this was ABC marketing that you paid for this property and this account. If that's correct, select how you paid for it, just click save, and that transaction will move over to your P&L. Then I can quickly go into my reports if I want to see my income statement. And it's going to show me my income statement for that year. And I can just click right here, let's say this shows I made 90,000 on this property. I can click, it's going to take me to that specific property and show me list of transactions.
Gotcha. American Express, I didn't know if it did it with American Express. I didn't see it. I think that's what my issue was.
I know other people that have American Express. I know a couple of people that are using, I don't use American Express, but let me see, Amex. Yeah, so if you do this,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think with, so if you just do Amex, you click right here, depending on, what kind of account you have, and then just put in information, it'll link it up.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions, but I know a couple of other people in REsimpli that are using Amex, and they have no issues syncing up their bank account.
Cool. Okay.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Ray has a question. Is there any way we can have a tab for calls made only per lead? For example, we call multiple. So Ray, for example, just to make sure, I think you and I exchanged emails about this. So if I go back to my KPIs, so this shows me that I've made 12 calls. So for example, if I call this number and I click call, and I hang up, and I'm going to call again. Oops. Sorry, that didn't go through. Let's say I call again and I hang up again. So this number, you're saying like it should go up by 2 or 3, depending on how many. Yeah, so this number went up by 2. So you're suggesting that you only want to see calls made to the unique sellers, right? I think we talked about this. We will be adding that information. So I created a ticket for my developers. So where you have total calls made versus number of leads called. So you might have, an acquisition person that called 10 times, but he might have called the same lead 10 times. So we will be adding that information soon, where you have total calls made and number of leads that you called. So let me know if that's what you were referring to. If yes, then we are going to be adding that information. Putting the acquisition. And Ray has another question. Is the comments and notes for you and team members, and the communication tab is between the acquisition and the seller? So if I go into this, so this comments and notes, so communication would be anything that you're having. So if you just wanted to see the communication you've had with the lead, then you'll click on communication tab. It will only show you the messages, any calls, text, IVM, email that you've sent out to the lead, or any calls or SMS you've received from the lead. So it'll only show you that. Notes will only show you your internal communication that you've had with the team. And communication notes will show you the combination of these two. So if you just wanted to, this is what I would say 95% of the people, this is what they would use majority of the time to see, everything that's happening internally with this lead, and also internally between your team, and also with the lead. Would see this. If you just wanted to see all the communication with the lead, go here, just the internal note, and this would show you everything, including when you change the status, who set up an appointment, when you move the lead. So it'll show you everything. But again, this would show you internal communication and also with the lead. Taylor has a question. Is there a way to link from lead machine to REsimpli if we delete a lead from the platform to delete from our mailing list if we use DM? Yes, it would. Taylor, if you, by the way, welcome to REsimpli. If you please don't mind, if you send us an email at support@REsimpli, I want to have Anthony from our team look into the integration. He's the one who works on our integration. If there is not one right now, I'll have him create a video and put it on help.resimpli.com. But if you don't mind, send us an email and we'll get that taken care of. And then your next question, if we delete a lead from the platform, would it delete from our mailing list? So all you need to, I would not delete anything because you really want to know the people that we already marketed to. Here's another update we are rolling out. I'm testing it right now. We're just doing QA testing on this. So this button is going to be adding pretty soon. So if I have, let's say, if I pull a list of people, let's say everybody that's on my absentee and driving list, and if I do, let's say I have 999 people on my absentee and driving list, and I want to send out direct mail to these people, but there might be some people that are on multiple lists. Sorry, not on multiple, some people that own multiple properties, but I only want to send them one mail per time. So I can just click right here. So if you keep an eye on this from 999, if I click right here, this number went down to 687. This is only unique mailing addresses. So it's removing any duplicates that I have. I can click right here. I can do select and then send direct mail. And then the other way is like if you, in your case, Taylor, if you have people that are already a lead in the system, I would not delete them. What you would do is essentially if they're already a lead, there's a filter right here. You can say in leads should be no. And then let's say if I want to mark it to everyone that's on my absentee and driving list, I can do this. So now I have 994 people. So I had 5 people that were on my lead. So if I do this, so it shows me I have 5 people that were already on my lead that were on my absentee and driving list. So this will make sure I'm not mailing those people. And then let's say if I do this, no. And then again, I would apply the same, I click right here, basically remove duplicates. So now I only have 685 people that I need to send mail out to, and it's going to cover my 985 or 995 properties that I had. Another thing you can do is if it's not a lead, let's say, you want to just take somebody off, your mailing list, so you can just click right here, and then you can mark this as opt-out if you wanted to. So I can just, again, this design is a little bit different from what you see. This is going to be updated pretty soon. So I can now, take anybody out as opt-out also. But as soon as, they become a lead, it's going to update this. And then I would always apply a filter to take out any person that's a lead. And now once this is added, once this button is added, then update this week or next week, then you can just remove any duplicate mailing addresses from your system. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. To do follow-up question, is there a way to know that the drip has stopped? I received a text message from the lead saying yes, and now I'm not sure how to check and see the drip start, but I don't want to keep sending automated messages since I'm going to now start. Yeah, so Brian, if you go into the lead, so for example, let's say if I'm going to put this lead on a drip, just going to go ahead and put it on a random drip. So if a lead is on a drip campaign, you're going to see this icon right up here. This shows you this is on a drip and which steps have already been completed. And even like when you pull them up on a dialer, it's going to show you this icon. So this way you know that this lead is on a drip. If I stop this, or if you get a text message from the lead, or if it's completed all the steps, this icon is no longer going to be there. So this is, you would always want to just have a quick look here. And this also shows up on your leads dashboard. So if I put it back on the drip, it's also going to show up on your main leads dashboard. So if I go back, if I go into the lead, so you're going to notice next to the name, there's going to be this icon. That means this lead is on a drip campaign. And this lead is a hot lead. If this was a hot lead and a drip campaign, then you'll see 2 icons. So this is, based on, you can see this from the lead listing. And also when you go into the lead, it'll show you that this lead is on a drip campaign. All right, you see, yeah, Brian, let me know if you have any follow-up question to that. Sebastian has a question. I know you have a calculator and an advanced calculator. Yes, Sebastian. So we have a basic and an advanced calculator.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. There's a second part to that.
Okay.
I was typing it out and I accidentally sent it, but it says, I know they have the calculator and the advanced calculator. Could you please go over that for a second? And also, do you have a blog or a resource page as far as other tools?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to help.wesimply.com, we are going to be making this. If you go into the chat, like we'll just have to make a couple of updates to this page. We are adding all the videos right here. So we're going to make it like, every single call that we do on weekdays or on Tuesdays, it goes right here. So you can have an access to any calls right here. But this is going to be updated. So when you click on this button tutorial, instead of taking you to wesimply.com/tutorial, it's going to actually take you to help.wesimply.com. And this is like much faster. So let's say if I want to see everything that I have related to dialer, I can just click dialer. It's going to show me everything that matches with that. If I want to see everything that, related to drip campaign, how to set up a drip campaign, pop up to keep or stop drip for each status, hot leads and drip campaign. So it goes through every single thing that you have. And then if there's nothing, so what we're starting to do is anytime we get a question, we go in and we basically make a video and then upload it there. So like basic calculator demo. So if you go in, it'll just walk you through on how to use that calculator. Cool. Let me know if you have any questions. So yeah, now like this page gets updated every single day. We're adding more and more information right here. Again, we'll make it live. The only thing is we have to just make the page SSL certificate on this. So again, it should go live this week or next week.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely, man. Carl has a question. How can you have the messages from launch control show up under communication nodes? I can see it when I click all. Would be nice to be in this section. So Carl, if I go back right here in the integration, let me launch. Yeah, so we have this launch control integration. So I would just have a look at this and just go through it and make sure, if set up through this, then all the messages that you're sending from launch control are going to get pushed through this integration into REsimpli. But if you have any questions on anything else, then Anthony is the person on our team that handles all the integration. And then on the integration page, every day we're updating, adding, any integration that we do. We make a video and put it up here, and then you can go in and have a look at that. But let me know if you have any questions about that. Just send us an email to support@REsimpli, and then we can connect you with Anthony. Or, while you're doing it, just you can click right here, click on live chat, and then just do that. And I'm going to, I have my support team on the call. Hey, Don, can you please make sure you reach out to Carl, H-U-T-H, K-A-R-L-H-U-T-H, about the integration, please?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Thank you. Brian has a question. Does list stacking automatically tag USP as vacant properties? Yeah, Brian, it absolutely does that. So if you go into list stacking, it's going to show you how many total vacant that you have. This is coming directly from USPS, and this gets updated every 30 days. So once a month we update. So as soon as we get the latest, information from post office, this gets updated. So you can see, I've total 213 vacant and 0 properties went vacant in the last 30 days. So anytime you add a new list of properties, so we'll first run it through the USPS database to make sure which one is vacant. And then you can go into the property address, and then you can, into filter, you can do vacant. Oops. Let me see. Trying to move too fast here. So, all right, so I can do vacant. I can say vacant equals yes. So it's going to show me all the vacant properties that I have. And then I can also do vacant date. Let's say I want to see everything that went vacant, before March 1st of this year. So it shows me there's only one property that went vacant before March 1st. It might also be, when you upload. So if you upload your list of properties today, and then they're vacant, then we'll use the today date as the vacant date, because that's what we have available from post office. But as you keep adding more and more properties, we'll keep updating that list on a monthly basis. I think we do it first Monday, or the first or second Monday of every week, or the first or second weekend of every month, we update the list. So we would definitely want to look at this right here. and just see, which ones went vacant. And again, this filter button right here, you can apply it to any filter that you have. So you might have, list of, let's say, owner with multiple properties. I say yes. So these are all the owners that I have with multiple properties. I can also apply, that I want to see vacant properties. Yes. And then I can see, I have 61. And if I want to see only the unique, I have 18 properties, 18 addresses, 18 owners that meet my criteria of, owners that have multiple properties, and they also have vacant properties. And then these are the unique. So I can just send, mailing to these people and say, hey, you might own multiple properties and some of them might be vacant. I'm really interested in buying those. So you can have your marketing list be very, very specific. Brian, let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. Yeah, Liana, absolutely. I would love to do a demo. Just let me know. Send over a message in Facebook, and then you and I can figure out a time.
Cool, will do. Thanks.
Sure. Jeremy has a question. Are there any plans for looking up property info without creating an actual lead? And any update on comms as an option for CRM tool besides Zillow? So Jeremy, we are going to be adding a goal is like end of May. You should see a couple of things right here. Like for example, if you have your properties uploaded in list stacking, this design is going to change. And let me see if I have one with phone number. So for example, this one, I have phone number. So what's going to happen is it's going to have a button to call and text these properties. So I can just click right here, call them. And then also there will be a Zillow button. So if I want to see, the property, this property, I want to see the Zillow information, you'll be able to do that. But in addition to that, we also use a third-party system to pull this information. Let me pick one that is actually a valid address. Yeah, so this one, we use a third party. So we use Zillow right here, but we also, this is a different system that we use to pull this information, based on estimated value. It's basically pulls data from public records, property, year bid, mortgage information, tax information. So that's what we have. We're looking at a couple of other, tools, but nothing is set right now in terms of like, having that, because between Zillow and this, at least in our market and so the other investors that I've talked to, it's pretty good information. At least, nothing is going to be as good as getting the information from MLS, but this is like pretty good in terms of, getting that information, like making just a first initial decision, whether you should move forward on this or not. Can REsimpli handle all accounting, multiple companies? Do we need QuickBooks? Actually, it's not set up for multiple companies just yet. So for example, if you had, flipping business and a property management business, for example, it's not set up for that. It's set up for one entity. For one entity, you can handle everything. So I run my entire business from REsimpli. We make all our decisions based on the financial data right here, like down to like KPIs, everything that I want to see. And then even like the flips that we're doing, I can click into any property, any I go in and I see all the financial data that I have. So to me, I used to be an accountant, so I'm super familiar with QuickBooks. We use QuickBooks for REsimpli, like my REsimpli company, and then my property management business. But for my flipping, investing business, wholesaling, flipping, the amount of financial data that I can get in REsimpli accounting, I cannot get through QuickBooks. I just, by a click of a button, for example, if I wanted to get this data in QuickBooks, it's impossible to get this data in QuickBooks as accurately as you can get it in REsimpli. No matter how much integration you can do, you will never ever be able to get this data just by click of a button through QuickBooks. So yeah, for that one company, if you have your investing company, if you have multiple bank accounts like I do, I have Chase, I have Capital One, we use Novo, and there's another bank that we use, Mercury Bank, I think. So all of them are linked right here, and then we run all our financials through that. And then I can go into a property. If I want to run, property report, I can go right there and look at the financials. Or even if I go into my income statement, this income statement is going to be way more detailed than you can ever possibly get in QuickBooks. Like it's built just for real estate investors. So it tells me like my total revenue, what percentage of that revenue came from fix and flip, what percentage came from wholesale fee, and it just breaks down all my, percentage of expenses that I'm spending, on my marketing, and like for every dollar that I'm putting into my marketing, how much is coming back. So you get very, very detailed information. But again, if you wanted to do property management, then you could not do that in REsimpli.
So, quick, boss.
I'm sorry. Sorry, your voice cut out there.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so a follow-up question on that. So your rental properties, I'm guessing you have holding properties for your rentals, and you manage that.
Yeah.
Books. So that's
actually I should correct myself. So I have some rental properties that are in my my primary, my main flipping business. So let's say I have a couple of rental properties that we bought a few years ago with the idea of like wholesaling, but I like the property, so I kept it in my portfolio in my main flipping business. So those I maintain through REsimpli financials, right? But if I also have a separate LLC that I use for all my rental properties, and I also own a property management business. For those, I use separate system for that, if that makes sense. But for my main business, that I have for my fix and flip business, my turnkey business, and then I have a couple of rental properties, those I use all the financial, I run it through REsimpli.
Awesome. One more question.
Sure.
And this is kind of something I ran into is putting an EMD. So I have a charge for earnest money deposit I was trying to put in.
Right.
And I couldn't attach it to a property because the property is still under contract.
Yeah, I think Daniel reached out to me. I think you talked to Daniel yesterday. So yeah. What you can do for now is, I was actually going to make a video, but since you're on the call, what you can do is you can create another account called Earnest Money. Let me see if I have right here. And are you going to be, so for example, something like this, you can create another account called Earnest Money. This would be like a current asset. And then when you spend the money, just put it against that earnest money. And when you close on the property, just reverse the transaction. So this becomes zero, and then it goes towards the property that you have.
Okay, so you create a vendor earnest money?
Yeah, vendor would be, if you're paying it to a title company, or if you're paying it to the brokerage, then the vendor would be whoever you're paying it to. So let me go right here.
Okay.
Let me see, go into another transaction. All right, so in this one, let's say it would be ABC Title Company, for example.
Gotcha. So just don't worry about attaching it to the property when it's just an earnest money deposit. Just put it in there as an earnest money deposit with the vendor of the title company. Right. And then once you close on it, I guess
once you close on it, then you would just make a journal entry. When are you closing on the property?
That one, I think it's Friday.
Okay, so once you close on it, just shoot me a quick quick message, and then what I'll do is I'll make a video for you, and then I'll send it to you, and then exactly show you step by step how you can take care of that.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. Cool. Let me see what are the questions.
Last thing, this isn't a question, but I just want you to know that I thought forever about switching over, and you're dominating this industry, man.
Thank you, man.
You're I didn't even know how great this system was till I moved into it and really trying to migrate over. There's hundreds and hundreds of little things in here that just blow me away every day. So
absolutely, man.
Being awesome and being on top of it, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much that means to me and everybody on my team. Now we make sure our goal for us is to add tons and tons of value to your business. Before I forget, I just quickly want to show you kind of something really cool that we've been working on. This is something that a lot of people had been asking for. It's going to come live very, very soon. I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited about this in my business, especially if you have a team overseas that are running your business. Let me. Oops. So we are going to be adding this option this is going to be pretty. So we're using Ring Central and Vonage. So we're going to be adding this option that you can have live, I shouldn't say, yeah, so REsimpli in-app answering. So what's it's gonna do is, let me see which number I had this with. Yeah, so I'm gonna call myself on this number. And yep, this is what's gonna happen. So it's gonna pop up, it's gonna say, hey, we found, this lead is calling you from this address. This is the person who's calling you, it's a secondary number, and it's attached with all these lists and tags. I can click answer. It's gonna pick up the call. And then, oops, sorry, it's echoing on my end. All right, yeah, and then I can just talk to this person, click on go to lead detail. It's gonna take me to that specific lead, and I can have my conversation again. This is in testing right now, but as soon as you get call from any number that's in your system, it's gonna pop up right here. Whether, even if it's not a lead, it's gonna look up that phone number in list stacking and tell you, hey, this is the person that's calling, this is the person's name. And it's also going to do the same thing in the app. So even if you're on the iPhone or your Android app, it's going to pop up with all the information before you answer the call. So I'm super excited about this. This should be going live in next few weeks. Again, we're just testing it right now. So, and then one other thing that we're working on is, this is going to be pretty cool. It's when you're adding somebody, this whole system is going to change with really, really cool way to manage your users. So let me see if I do this. It's not done yet, just in testing. So you can go in, you can say, who are you adding in your team? Let's say I'm adding accountant. I don't want this person to be on my leads. I can do no, just go ahead and add it. And then I can also go back. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then I can choose very, very specific information that I want to give to that person. Let's say I can go in and do this, and I can go into last one, and I go into very specific lead permission. Let me go back. No. Assigned roles, and I can go into and see, for the leads that this person is assigned to, what status do I want to give access to this person? And then this person is only going to see leads in that status. And even if this person is not assigned to any leads, now I can go in and choose, no access to non-assigned leads, full access to non-assigned. This might be somebody that, consultant that you hired, somebody that you just, they're not assigned to any leads, but you still want to give them access. And then in permissions, you can choose, again, we're adding a couple of really cool things. If you want to give them access to assign any unassigned leads or any unclaimed leads, a really, really cool way. And there's going to be something called vacation mode, which a lot of people had been asking for. So I'm excited about that. But again, didn't mean to go off tangent, but thank you, Mitchell, for those kind words. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me see where I left off. Sebastian, I think I answered a question about the help center. So you can go to help.resimpli.com and be updated every single day with the videos and all the information. And Brian has a question. Any chance there will be availability to create a direct mail campaign without requiring the list stacking option? Yep, Brian, you can definitely, you don't have to use list stacking. You can go directly to direct mail and then just manually upload your list. So you don't have to go through list stacking. But the cool thing with the list stacking would be it'll clean out any duplicate addresses that you have, which, in direct mail, you'll have to do it manually. So, depending on the plan that you have, if you're on a pro plan, you get 50,000 records. So I would at least use it to clean out the duplicates. But if you're on enterprise, then you get unlimited. But yeah, you don't have to use list stacking. You can just directly go to direct mail and order your direct mail from there. Which is subject to and eventually owner. Anthony has a question. How do you set up and classify a property in financial that you purchase subject to and eventually owner finance to a buyer? Anthony, this could get a little bit lengthy. If you don't mind, if you just want to send me an email, sharad@wholesale.com, what I'll do is just kind of give me a little bit more information on how you bought the property and, a little bit more information about transactions. So what I'll do is I'll actually make a video for you and kind of just break down everything on how you would want to keep track of those financials. Okay. And Brian has a question, is there a way to trick the system to turn a lead into rental property and manage leases, tenants, and maintenance calls here? We are currently with Podio and looking into make a change, but like that with Podio, we can handle. Brian, we are going to be adding something. It's not, yeah, again, it won't be like a property management system per se, but you will be able to add your tenants and other, vendors. Basically, you'll be able to add your vendors in the system. I can give you guys a quick sneak preview of what that's going to look like. I'm just reviewing it before the call. So kind of this is what it will look like. So you will be able to manage your leads. So leads and buyers agents you can already manage, but basically anybody else that you have outside of that, whether it be tenants, so you will be able to do that. And then this is what, this is not final design yet, but more or less will look like this. So if you had this person added as your tenant, then you will be able to, upload their lead, upload their lease information, call them, text them from within the system. Again, this not a replacement for like a property management system, but you'll be able to manage the basic information. Financially you can already do, but through vendors you'll be able to manage the basic information about your tenants. Cool. All right, let me see. Brian, let me know if you have any follow-up questions on that. What tools are you? Jeremy has a question. I'm looking to cancel my QuickBooks. What tools are you using to pay your VAs and 1099 employees? If my VAs are overseas, Jeremy, I'm using TransferWise. We have several people, our support team is based overseas, and we have, my VAs in my real estate companies are based overseas. So we pay all of them through TransferWise. They give you the best exchange rate and also very, very inexpensive. So I highly, highly recommend. If you're not using it, it's actually used to be called TransferWise, but now it's just called Wise, WISE.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. I would definitely check them out. And then the 1099 employees that I have in US, like those would be my contractors. So we just pay them either through check, or most of the people actually what we do is we pay them through either QuickPay or ACH or your online bill pay. And then at the end of the year, we just send them 1099, and that's all you need to do. So if you have specific questions, kind of what I'm doing, just feel free to shoot me an email, Sharad at REsimpli. I'll be more than happy to kind of share more details on how we're managing that in our business. But anybody overseas, we use wise.com. And then anybody local, it's in US, through check, ACH, QuickPay, or a couple of other systems that we have. And if somebody has some other information, some other vendor that they're using, I'd love to kind of hear about that.
What about your W-2 employees? Like acquisition managers, W-2, right?
Yes, our acquisition manager, project manager, lead manager, they're all W-2 employees. So we pay them, I think, I'm blanking out on the name. Gusto is who we use for our payroll. And then we just input that in REsimpli. They give us a breakdown so in their system, and then we just put it in our system for that. Yeah. Jeremy, you cannot use the system to track hours. Not hours. You will be able to track some more information. I don't know if you saw in the last call, I think it was, where we talked about this is a leaderboard that we are rolling out next week. I believe it should go live. This should go live next week. So this is not exactly going to track your hours, but it will track how much revenue that person brought in, what's their average deal size, how many deals, contracts, offers, appointments, how many calls they made, how many SMS, and what's their average call duration, total time they're on the phone. It doesn't exactly track the hours they were working, but it'll track like total time they were on the phone. And you can filter it by different time period. We are going to be adding some very, very basic information about tracking hours for VAs, but that's further down the road. All right, let me see, what are the questions? Jasmine has a question. Nadia has a question. Does this work with CallRail soft phone? Nadia, if you explain me the use case a little bit more, I can help you answer that question.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm currently using the less annoying CRM with my VA. My VA is overseas and she's using the CallRail soft phone that she can use on, the browser to call the leads and talk to them. So does that work with REsimpli?
If you're calling the leads, then you can just call them directly from right here. Are you trying to call the lead?
Yeah. So are you saying I wouldn't need that soft phone anymore? I could use this instead?
Yeah, I mean, let's say if I was just calling this lead, then I would just click right here and sorry, I don't know whose number is this, but I would just start calling from right here. So you would not need CallRail unless you have like a very specific use case that you needed CallRail for. Like, for example, this is a support number. If I wanted to just talk to this person, I just click call and it's going to start ringing and it's going to keep track of all my, call recording, my communication with the lead within the system, rather than, doing any sort of integration with an outside system.
So you don't have,
I don't have
to do anything. Okay, so
yeah.
you don't, I'm just saying you don't have to have a separate phone system. It's all included in this and in the price.
Correct. Yeah, it's all included. I mean, depending on the plan, you might see a different dialer. This is, depending on the plan that you have, you may or may not have access to this, but you can always upgrade. And then this would be included for you. But like just calling and texting, it's included in every single plan.
Okay.
Right. Most of the people that switch over to REsimpli are using some combination of a CRM and CallRail. That's like CallRail is the most common system they're using. So we can port all your numbers from CallRail into REsimpli. Then you don't lose your numbers, and then you can just still keep using those numbers, and they would just forward into REsimpli.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
What happens if that lead calls back though? Is that an issue?
No, it would just come right here. Like if somebody called,
and you can live answer it?
Live answering, what I showed right here is going to be coming, it's going live. Like live answering would be something like this, where I'm, like something like if you see on my screen, this pop-up that comes up, this is actually going live end of this month, where you'll just be able to click and then just answer the call right here.
And will that be on all plans or just specific plans?
It will be included in enterprise plan for everyone. Let me just hang up the call. I didn't hang up. Okay, so it will be included for every user in the enterprise plan, and then the other two plans will be an upgrade. But once you upgrade, it's not going to be per user upgrade. It'll be for everyone on your team. So we'll come out with the pricing in next week or two. But this, like for example, I'm using Ring Central in my business, Ring Central Vonage. So we pay $20-25 per month per person to have that feature. So we will be able to eliminate that and just have all of our calls be answered within REsimpli, whether, if I'm logged into the web, I can answer from the web, or if I have the iOS or Android app in my phone, then it's going to ring directly on my phone. So I won't need, so essentially, it's more importantly for your overseas team, they will not need a US number to answer the calls. It'll just directly route to their app or to their browser.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Jasmine has a question. Is there a way to recover a lead that I deleted by mistake? Jasmine, if you send us an email at support@REsimpli, or Don, if you can follow up with Jasmine Ramos, Jazmin, last name Ramos, about the lead that she deleted, then we can.
Right. Thank you.
Got it, Sharad.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anthony, my email is Sharad. Here, I'm going to put it in the chat at REsimpli.com. So yeah, if you want to send that question over, I'll be more than happy to answer that.
Thank you, Sharad. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray has a question. Sharad, have you ever thought making a call that was already made and recorded to show how much was the seller was talking and the acquisition? Something? Are you talking about Ray? What do you call the transcription of the call? Is that what you're referring to? I'm not sure. If you can just let me know.
So like CallRail shows you how much you were talking against the seller. So let's say, for example, if the seller was talking 80% of the time, CallRail would track as like a very small graph, like it would show, or the percentage. The seller was talking more, you was talking more. Just
I see what you mean. Like if the caller was talking more or the callee was talking more.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, no, we definitely, I mean, we honestly go based on, like, we have a button right here to submit suggested features. So I go through this once a week, and then we make a roadmap based on this. One of the things that a lot of people have asked for is the in-app live answering that I showed a demo of. And the other thing is ability to live transfer calls. So that's also going to come with in-app answering. And in addition, a couple of other things that people have asked for is like call whispering. So if one of your agents is on a call, you can live listen to that and also barge in. So those two things are going to come after we go live with these features. And then I can definitely add, the information, the feature that you suggested to our roadmap. Yeah. Nadia has a question on, make sure you include an option to add a voice message. Nadia, what you can do is, like, depending on the state that you're in, you can have in the call flow, you can just have, it could be like a greeting that you play. And the greeting could be, let's say if I'm going to record a new greeting. Hey, thank you for calling Sharad with REsimpli. Somebody will be with you shortly. Please note this call will be recorded for our training purposes. And then every time somebody calls, they're always going to hear this message before the call gets connected. So what I would do is I would just make it part of the greeting. And then you can make it part of every greeting. Like you can do IVR also if somebody calls. And if they press 1, then you can have a different greeting be played. If they press 2, different greeting, different call flow. So you can do a lot of cool customizations in here. But yeah, I would just set up, a greeting and just let them know, again, depending on the state. And you can also enable and disable the call recording. So this is incoming call recording, whether, again, depending on the calls, whether you want to be recorded or not. And again, for the outgoing, you can disable this. So then anytime you call from this number, the calls will not be recorded. So you can enable and disable that based on your preference.
That's amazing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and if you have any specific questions on the call rail, again, most of the people switch over into REsimpli for call rail, so very, very familiar with the whole process. And then we can answer any questions that you have on that.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for all the great questions, and thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. Any other questions, guys? I have another 10, 15 minutes before my next call. I'm more than happy to answer any other questions you guys have.
I think I just messed it, but the recording of this meeting, it's available, right?
Yeah, so we put it on our YouTube page, and it also goes on help.resimpli under let me right here. So it'll go on our YouTube page, and then it'll also go into help.resimpli if you go into mastermind calls. So every call we do, so this should get uploaded before the end of the week, but usually we do it in a couple of days. And then you can just come in and all the calls that we do get updated right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the call that we did last week, how to manage your buyers and agents in the system. And then this one will get added sometime this week.
Is there anyone that I can talk to about setting up my account?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go back here, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
So if you go back here in your account, if you click on help desk, so you can just click right here, book an onboarding call, and it's going to open up. Yeah, right here you can book with. If it's integration related, I would book it with Anthony. If it's like generic, I would book it with Red. So you can click right here. It's going to open up their Calendly, and then you can just click and book a time with them.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
perfect.
yeah, so you can see. And then if you have some other question that you need urgent help with, you can just always click right here on the live chat. And then, somebody will just give you information on that.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Well, I had a question though. It's kind of out of topic. So
Sure.
let's say, for example, this morning I had a call in which the actual owner had passed away already, and the person who answered the phone, she just hung up on me. So I didn't have the time to actually ask, hey, when's a good time for me to call back? So I'm not sure how to handle that honestly. So how long would you be able to get in touch with this person? Would you say a month? Would you say 2 months perhaps? Or when would you be considered a good time for you to follow up on that specific situation?
Yeah, this is, I mean, like a death in the family is always a tricky one, you know. I would just, you know, I would handle the situation like how you would want somebody to handle the situation, you know, if like the roles were reversed. I would just do that, you know, just send them a quick message. Hey, we missed your call. If there's anything we can help with, please let us know, and then just leave it at that. And then, you know, just maybe wait like 4 to 6 weeks just to kind of circle back and say, hey, you know, do you have anything we can help you with? And not say, hey, we can make you a cash offer, but just say, you know, hey, is there anything we can help you with, you know, related to your asset or anything that you have? Yeah, it's always a tricky one, you know. Yeah, but yeah, I would just kind of, especially if, you know, somebody had it in the family, I would just offer my help and then just step back and let them kind of take their time.
All right. Thank you so much for the advice.
To do, I know you asked Sharad, but one thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say if somebody else has any questions on info on that.
You know, a piece of paper, they'll still be able to see it after, you know, after they feel better, after they are willing to, you know, walk into that situation or open up to that situation or engage with it. So handwritten letters, you know, I like to do those, but
yeah, that's actually a great
idea. A phone call, they could just reject. A text, they'll reject it, and you know, if you keep insisting, you know, it's probably gonna not work as efficient or as well, just because they're going through something. But you know, a piece of paper to throw or a magnet, they're still going to be able to look at it when they're ready.
Yeah, I think, Sebastian, I think that's a great idea. Like sending a handwritten note, you know, there's like, I think that's going to be better than any call or text message that you send out. And just message would be, hey, if there's, sorry to hear about your loss. If there's anything we can help with, please let us know. And then just leave it at that for like at least month, 1.5 or 2 months. Okay.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sebastian and Sharad. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Daniela had a question. Is there any way to look for certain messages sent by the leads to filter them out? Like, for example, sold or not interested? Daniela, not for that, but if you move somebody to sold, you know, sorry, if you move somebody to a dead lead, then we'll ask you a reason why you moved it to a dead lead, which, you know, gets added right here. You know, seller owes too much or needs too much work, but there's no way to filter out based on the text that, like in this case, the person, hey, I'm currently unable to answer your call. Feel free to respond over text. Otherwise, you know, I'll be sure to call you back. So that's, you know, you won't be able to filter by that. I mean, you can go into call logs and kind of, you know, if you wanted to do that, like for example, if you're getting something, you know, an unusual message, then I would just like add it as a tag. It could be, you know, anything that you want to, let's say, you know, bankruptcy. Somebody, you know, says that, and then I would add it to those leads, and then you can filter by that. Or you can go into call logs and then just filter based on, for example, the incoming SMS, and then just kind of see, you know, what kind of messages you're getting. If you get something, you know, this new message, then go into the lead and then just put, you know, a tag of sold or bankruptcy or whatever you might, and then you can filter based on the tag. I hope that helps you with that question. Oops, sorry, I realized I wasn't sharing my screen. Yeah, so you can add tag to the property, for example, bankruptcy, or, you know, any other tag, as you get a message from the lead, or you can go into call logs and then filter based on the type of message that you have, let's say incoming SMS, and just kind of keep, eye out on what kind of messages you're getting. Let's say if somebody says unavailable, I would just go into that lead and add that tag of like unavailable, for example, or whatever tag you want to track it by. And then you can just come in here and then filter based on those tags. So if I want to see everybody that's included on my bankruptcy tags, it's going to show me everything, no matter what stage they're in. So that's how kind of you can keep track of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, this is Jeremy. I have a quick question. I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Looking at your leads list, is this only filtered for just your leads, or is this all your whole team? One of the things I wanted to be able to see, I think you can do it, and I may be wrong, but I kind of want the bird's eye view of everything that's going on. So being able to see not just my particular leads, but the whole company's leads as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So in filters, like if you don't select this, like it'll show you, especially if you're the owner, it's going to show you everybody's lead. But if you only wanted to see leads that are assigned to like, a specific person, then you can just filter for that.
Gotcha.
So you can do a whole bunch of different filters. If you want to see all the leads that have, no tasks that are assigned to anybody. So this tells you that, there's no task assigned to these leads. So nobody might be working on it. Or you can also see, the leads that have a pending task, and they might be assigned to, let's say, Tony Stark, and they're past due, for example. So you can just go right here. You can see there are 2 leads that have pending tasks assigned to Tony Stark, and then you can go in and see what task he has not completed. But you can also view this information from the dashboard if you're the owner, or if you give somebody the access, then you can just quickly go into Tony Stark, and then you can see like he has 7 tasks that are past due that he hasn't completed so far. Gotcha. And then you can click right here. It's going to show you the task for Tony Stark that he has not completed.
Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely, man. Cool. Awesome, guys.
Hey, Sharad, one quick question. Not sure if you've been seeing my question, but regarding the direct mail campaigns, is there a way to, because I'm like a one-man team right now, and I'm on the basic plan, but I can open up the direct mail option, but I don't have a way to create a direct mail campaign without having the list stacking option, which I don't have that option.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I answered that question, but I'm sorry. But can you see my screen? Do you see my screen now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you go into this marketing, go into direct mail, and then you can just click on to add new, and it's going to walk you through the steps to order a direct mail. So you don't need list stacking for this.
Right, but how do I? Because this is where I was stuck at. It's asking me to upload a list. Like what's the list?
So your list would be your marketing list. So let's say if you pull a list from PropStream, or you have a driving for dollar list, whatever list you might have, you can just upload it right here, and and then you will be able to, I'll just walk you through the step. So you'll need your list that you want to send direct mail to.
So what about if I wanted to send a direct mail list or direct mail campaign to existing leads in the system? That's my whole thing. That's what I'm trying to do. I see.
Yeah, then what I would do is just, let's say, you want to send it to, specific, I don't know, let's say somebody that's on specific tags, let's say I'm just going to pick these. Then you would just export these leads and then just put them back into direct mail, and you might want to clean it up, for some information, and then just upload that.
Okay, perfect. That was my question.
I see.
Yeah, that I needed to export the information in order to re-import it.
Yeah, with list stacking, you can just click a button and it go through that. It'll clean up all the property address and everything. But yeah, if you don't have that, then you can just export it from leads, based on whatever filters you want to apply, and then upload into direct mail, and then choose whatever campaigns you have. Just last week, we added some really cool yellow letter font. It looks very, very close to handwritten font. It's not actually handwritten, but it looks very close to an actual handwritten font with variable font, and it's really, really good.
Okay, thanks, Sharad. That answered my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Cool guy. Anything anything else, guys? I have a call in 3 minutes, then I need to jump off for. But yeah, I mean, this has been a fantastic call. Thank you for making it very interactive. This call recording will be available in 2 days. And then we'll upload it into help.REsimpli, and also this will go on our YouTube page, and also we'll put it on our Facebook group. Awesome.